Today I'm going to do a check-in on my October budget, and I'm going to talk about the schedule on which I get payments, as well as go over some of the different transactions so far and a few things that have been added to the budget since the beginning of the month because of not last minute, but planning ahead, but already into the start of the month of a couple of things with friends and family.
Okay, so this is my October budget. I labeled it October this time because I didn't have that last time and I felt like maybe that should be in here. I've added a couple numbers at the bottom because they're the numbers I'm going to plug into the different places to check in with my budget, as well as go over some of the transactions and other added costs for the month. So here in my first row under the actual, I'm going to put in what my additional paycheck is. So I just got paid. This is halfway through the month. I get paid every other week. So that landed on this weekend. And the number at the bottom of this column is the number I'm plugging in here. So I'm just going to do plus 1036.85. And now I'm pretty close to that $2,000 estimate. I was at the beginning negative in the bottom. It was red and in parentheses, meaning it was a negative number. So what I had already allotted, like that the rent comes out of my account for when my roommate and I pay rent, because that had been pulled out, it looked like I didn't have enough to cover everything. But that was because I hadn't gotten both paychecks for the month. If I'd been paid at the beginning of the month, then it would all be in there. I do actually have a month's advance of value in my account, so that even if I missed a paycheck for some reason or another, I'd always have the amount to actually cover all of this, plus my 8 months emergency fund and so forth. Now these other numbers here are for the groceries and the fun, or kind of like everything else catch-all. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually just copy and paste this. So it's going to go into this cell here, and then I just need to put the equal sign at the beginning to make it actually do the calculation for me. So there we go. It's missing some outlines, so let's just put those back in. I'm a little bit anal on that. So far for the month, I have allotted for myself $150 worth of groceries, and so far I've only used 56. This is my half because I live with my roommate and partner. We try to split how much it costs for groceries. We both contribute $150, sometimes $200, into the fund account where we have a debit card that we just pass back and forth and both know the PIN to. It's technically in my name only because we haven't added my roommate's name to the account yet. It's relatively new. We just started it in the last couple months. Before, it just used to be we'd kind of estimate and tell each other the numbers back and forth to see if we were making it close to the 150 each, to be kind of fair. Since we're both stocking the same fridge and cupboards, if one of us just wants to snack on something, we don't have to want to worry about, well, who bought it, because we live together. And then this does not include a restaurant meal, actually 2 restaurant meals from last weekend when we were in San Diego. And that hopefully is close to the $60 mark, because other than that, I don't think either of us have bought groceries besides this number and then those 2 restaurant things for lunch and dinner. And that was kind of a treat. We don't really worry about when we're traveling to always pack our own lunch, because we use it sometimes as the excuse of the only meal we eat out in a month anyway. Most of the time when we're at home, we don't eat out unless one of us just like isn't really feeling well and doesn't want to cook. So next column, or the next row in this column that I'm going to fill in, is some of the other random fun blow money, however you call it, miscellaneous. For me, I just do a catch-all rather than breaking it down into clothes, beauty, whatever, mostly because I don't have enough purchases or transactions that go into any one category to break it down any further than this. And as long as this stays under probably about $200 to $300 in any given month, and that's pretty high for a given month, then I'm not too worried about what this value ends up being. And that kind of counterbalances what goes into extra sinking funds amount or how much I send to retirement in that particular month. And then the closer I get to the end of the year, the more strict I get with what I actually want to send to retirement. So this is still a ballpark number. The fun category, I already have $25 from a purchase of a concert ticket. Yeah, cheap concert ticket, got it really early in advance. Some of my coworkers are going to go with me. It's going to be cool. And then I also had a appointment where I had a tip for $9. And then I purchased in advance, like the day they went on sale, another concert ticket for the weekend of New Year's Eve. It's not New Year's Eve night itself because I have to work New Year's Day because I work on any of my assigned work days. Our company runs 24/7. So I can choose to get holidays off, but most of the time for budgeting purposes, I just choose to work the holiday. There's fewer calls, so it's a little bit easier, and I get paid more, like double. So it's worth it to me. And then so the concert ticket was $152.40. And then I also had a friend and I decided to go to Knott's Berry Farm for the month of October. They do Knott's Scary Farm. So there's, you know, thematic decorations, and then once it gets to be dark, then scary people come out, whatever. I've never been, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to wear a costume. Yes, I'm going to wear a costume all day to a theme park just because it's October. All right, so the ticket is going to be about $42. I'm rounding up because of whatever kind of taxes. We're splitting parking, which is going to be probably around $20, and there's at least 3 of us going, so I'm planning $7 towards parking. And then I really like Peanuts characters, so Snoopy, Woodstock, and those are some of the characters that are themed for Knott's Berry Farm. So I imagine I might see a souvenir or a t-shirt or something that I want. So I'm guessing about $50 if I find a t-shirt or two. That would be a pretty close mark. I might also have some food fees, something else. If this goes up above 50, again, I'm not too worried about it because I'm pretty flexible with my budgeting at this point. All right, so this is the transactions so far and planned transactions that are going to occur kind of in the category of fun. And so when I hit enter, it'll calculate that for me. So now my numbers have adjusted. I've put in my second paycheck. I've put in how much I've spent so far for groceries, and then I've also put in some of the expenses of personal items as well as different activities. I don't have any other activities planned. I don't think that we really have a lot of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood, so I don't plan on spending any money on candy for that. I still look like I have plenty to go to retirement, so this may even actually go up. And I still have to allocate $507.52. Now, the amount from this is going to get categorized into some of the different sinking funds. So currently the grocery budget has not been adjusted. This needs to be reduced, which I'll do at the end of the month. The pet sinking fund does need to go up a little bit because in total, from myself and my roommate combined, so that we can pay off of the shared debit card account, we need to have the amount for both animals' vaccinations, which is this calculation right here. 2 cats for $110 for vaccinations, and the dog $237 for vaccinations plus the license fee that's coming up in November. So at the very minimum, there needs to be $347 just for the vaccinations and licensing. And then November is also going to be the month where I have the purchase for usually 2 to 3 months worth of supplies. That includes food, litter, very rare amount of treats, hardly ever a new toy, but I think we're gonna probably purchase a new pet bed because we've been talking about that it's gonna get a little bit colder, and there's one that we kind of move around, and it'd just be easier to not move it around and just have 2 so that it can stay in one place, and then there can be a second one in another location. So that number needs to go up. Car insurance is already fully funded, and that gets paid to my mom in December so that I can stay on the family plan. And then car replacement probably needs to go up. I currently drive a car that is 24 years old and has over 420,000 miles. My mom was the original owner. She passed it on to me. So basically, it's been one owner, driver, family for the entire life of the car. So I do either need to just have planned maintenance because things are going to break. I've replaced a battery recently. Just planning ahead on that. And then, of course, making sure that I max out my Roth IRA, even though in doing so, plus the amount that I contribute to my work retirement that's matched by my work, puts me way over 15%. Because I've got all of my other needs met, I'd rather put in a ton of money now and gain rapid interest, or at least have compound interest work in my favor for many more years, than to just not contribute because it's over 15%. It does make some of the other goals, like a very slow, long-term, out in the future goal of a down payment of a house. Part of that's because I live in California, so 50,000 probably still isn't even sufficient in terms of a down payment on a house. I'm not 100% sure I want to purchase a house, and I'm not 100% sure I want to purchase a house in California. So until I kind of make up my mind about that, I'm just slowly putting money into the goal and then not really worrying about it all that much. But that is my October budget check-in. There'll be a couple other numbers that'll be added to this, and then I'll send off whatever amount for a retirement check that I can towards the end of the month, and you will hear more when the month ends. Thanks for watching.